Howdy, yokes! Before we get started on today's episode of Bacon and Eggs, I'm actually joined by a fellow podcaster, Nick Bailey. I've brought him on the show. He hosts Fan Counters, and I think it's a wonderful show. I just wanted to give him an opportunity to come here and chat about what he does, and maybe see if I can get some of y'all to listen to his hilarious podcast. So, Nick, welcome to Bacon and Eggs.
Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So, Nick, tell me, what is Fan Counters? I mean, where did this idea come from, and how do you produce what you produce?
Well, Fan Counters is basically a show that everybody can say, hey, you'll never believe what happened when I met a certain celebrity. So we thought, how fun would it be to turn the tables and say, what was that encounter like for the celebrity? They might have thought differently than you did about it. So it's our opportunity to find out their craziest and wildest and weirdest experiences that they've had with their fans.
Well, that's so fun. Do you have any good examples you can share with our listeners?
Yeah. So I did come prepared for your show, of course. I did want to mention, you might be thinking, well, what kind of celebrities does he have? So we've hosted some classic TV celebrities like Jerry Mathers from Leave It to Beaver, Christopher Knight from The Brady Bunch. We've done Olympic athletes like Scott Hamilton and Chelsea Memel. Terry Fader was on our show from America's Got Talent. And then we also have a lot of young stars from Disney, Nickelodeon. We've had the girls from Dance Moms on the show. So lots of interesting guests. And some of the weirdest stories that we like to hear about are the random bathroom encounters that celebrities have. For instance, Christopher Knight from the Brady Bunch had a great one. He was in a bathroom doing his business in a urinal, but it was kind of one of these open style, really old urinals in this bar in New York. So you almost, if you weren't careful, you could just kind of walk into it. So he's doing his business, and this guy comes in, he goes, "Peter Brady!" And he slaps him on the back. Obviously, he was overserved. And he literally pushed Chris into the urinal. And by the time he realized what was going on, he had already been peeing on his shoes. So he goes, yeah, that's one I'll never forget.
Gosh.
So those are some of the kind of stories we hear. My favorite is, have you ever seen the show House Hunters on HGTV?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so when that show first aired, I don't know if you remember, but they used to have a host that was a real person, Suzanne Wong. And she'd kind of walk a sidewalk and be like, so-and-so's looking for this house and all this stuff. So Suzanne was on the show, and she had some really fun encounters from House Hunters, but my favorite was when she went to a party, and she was approached by a woman who clearly knew who Suzanne was, but she didn't recognize her. So this lady comes up, and she goes, "Hey, Suzanne, I was on your show." And Suzanne's like, what? She goes, House Hunters, do you remember me? I'm Tracy Stevens. I have a son. I bought a house by the lake. Now, Suzanne just hosts the show. She never actually met any of the House Hunters, and she obviously doesn't watch the show once it's put together. But this woman gets increasingly more loud. "I can't believe you don't remember me." And so Suzanne is now a rule. Anytime somebody comes up to her, she'll just be like, "Oh, yes, that was my favorite episode," just to get away from those weird encounters.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have one more you can share with us?
Yeah, so the band R5 is really huge overseas and in South America, but they've got a big name here as well. They're actually from Colorado. So the drummer of that band, Ellington Ratliff, was on our show, and he talked about a kid who asked him, "Have you ever seen a 14-year-old with a tattoo?" And he's like, "No." She says, "Do you want to see mine?" So Ellington's like, well, I guess. Curiosity kind of got the best of him, so he said yes. So get this, Tyler. She proceeded to take out her fake eyeball to show a tattoo on the eyeball of the Chicago Blackhawks logo.
Oh my God. What? Yeah, that would mess me up for the rest of my life. I would hang up the drumsticks at that point.
Well, you know what he did, though? He goes on the tour bus and brings out his bandmates one by one and makes her do it over and over. So
that's too good.
Very crazy thing. So we do get a lot of weird fan encounters on our show. So we would love, if you guys love movies as much as Tyler and I do, to come on over, because we have a lot of stars that were in the movies kind of dishing about their behind the scenes stories of the making of stuff. Like we had Alex Paunovic from what was it called? The Planet of the Apes movie. The title escapes me. But anyway, he was on kind of telling, because he played Winter in that movie. So he would tell us about what it was like to film kind of with all those dots on your body, because they had to create him into this massive gorilla. So we get to hear cool stories like that.
Oh, wow. This sounds so good. Nick, thank you for joining me here before we started Bacon and Eggs. And definitely go check out Fan Counters. And maybe you'll see some more collaborations from the two of us soon.
I would love that. Yeah, and just so your listeners know, we're on Twitter. We'll post all our episodes there. So we're at Fan Counters Live on Twitter.
There you go. Just that easy to find.
Thank you so much, Tyler. I really do appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Nick, thank you for joining us. And now on with the episode. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill.
And today we're looking for a new home.
Or maybe we're just fighting the same enemies as last time, but like scarier now.
So get ready to set your dragons free!
Fly on your own.
Because today we're bringing you
How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
How to Train Your Dragon was released just 5 days ago on February 22nd, 2019 on a $129 million budget. Made all of it back. $277 million worldwide opening weekend. I think because it released here like a month late. So it's just taking all those
accurate
because I've seen the domestic numbers. They're not that good. But a 92% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes, 89% audience, and a 71 on Metacritic. But before we get into our professional reviews, we're joined this week by none other than the How to Train Your Dragon expert himself, Isaac Carlson of WotsoVideos. Isaac, welcome back to the show.
Hello, guys. I'm so glad to be back, especially for this episode. I've been so excited for this movie ever since I got into the franchise. I mean, it was only actually a few months ago, but it's felt like much longer than that.
I would think if like, listen, I've only known you, Isaac, for almost a year now. I don't know if you even liked How to Train Your Dragon when we met, but I feel like everybody's got their niche on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like Seamus, I like Toy Story Gorman over there. That's like his brand. This, to me, is what Isaac is all about.
How to Train Your Dragon? I'd say How to Train Your Dragon and Lion King are the two like big things I like to talk about that lots of people don't.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yes.
These are some overlooked movies, honestly.
Oh my God, are they overlooked?
I mean, like, it's sinful, honestly. Like, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that like it never comes to the forefront of my mind when I'm talking about these movies. We're talking about animated movies, and the greatest ones is to talk about these movies. But like, oh my God, I was missing out.
Well, that's exactly what happened to me as well. I enjoyed Disney pretty much my entire life. Got into YouTubing a lot, and then started looking into lots of animated movies, and slowly I just started to look into Dreamworks as well, see if there was anything there. But for the most part, I always thought that Shrek was the only thing to really look to. And then I bought How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2, waited a few months to actually watch it, and it blew my mind. I was blown away. I watched them back to back, and the first two just rattled me. And I was addicted. I was deep diving everywhere I could, watching the Netflix show, diving into the wikis. It blew my mind.
There's a Netflix show?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's actually really good.
I did not know that.
There's a bunch of shows. There was one that originally released on Cartoon Network that was Riders of Berk. And then the Netflix show is Dragon's Race to the Edge. And it's what takes place in between 1 and 2. So completely sets up Drago and like the search for the Bewilderbeast egg prior to the second one. And it also shows the transition into like all the characters, like Hiccup and Astrid, like getting engaged and starting to date. All of that is fleshed out in those shows. It's awesome.
Oh, this is only good news. This is just
that's
more
so cool. Yeah, that's more
How
stuff.
to Train Your Dragon.
Oh my gosh, I did not know about that.
I feel so bad that I didn't know this. But before we get too deep into our reviews, I need professional reviews, Ethan.
Okay, I've got a negative.
You have a negative review. You have a negative review.
I have a negative review.
I know how the show works, Ethan. I know how it works.
I'm so proud of you.
I know how it works.
Anyway, Joel Morgenstern, I couldn't say that word for some reason, of Wall Street Journal says, this film feels like it's flying on empty. This is clearly the end of a franchise, one that gave great pleasure and stayed on too long.
Sounds like Joe's seen on the Netflix shows.
He's really Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.ed himself out. I can't talk tonight. Right. What is going on?
I don't know, man.
It's the LaCroix. I'm just, plastered on LaCroix. Anyway, Tyler, do you have a positive review for us?
I do, actually. I think sort of mirroring yours, Johnny Oleksinski over at the New York Post, the top critic on Rotten Tomatoes, says this movie could easily be called How to End Your Trilogy. 3 out of 4.
What a great review.
I know. And his rating is the number of worthwhile Toy Story films.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, quite the roast. Ooh, it's a call out.
Blistering.
I think, listen, I need a binary review on The Hidden World. Isaac.
I think it's a solid one for me.
Solid one.
Absolutely, yeah.
You.
Couldn't agree more.
I'll tell you why. Because I didn't know about the Netflix show. I didn't know about the Cartoon Network show. And Isaac, I hate to tell you this, I don't know that I've even seen the second one.
I have.
Have you?
I've watched all 3 of them in the past probably 27 hours.
Yeah? Was it a good 27 hours?
It was a good 27 hours. I watched 1, 3, 2.
What did you think of the second one?
Oh, it was great. They're all great. It gets better every time. And Isaac might disagree with me on that. I think he's going to. So I seem to remember him saying that the second one was the best one ever. We talked about it. And I'm curious to see how the third one stacked up for that. But I think they get better as they go on.
I am a little hesitant to say that the third one is better than the second one. But I think it's important to note that each one has different moments that are special on their own. And I think it's just a toss-up because the second one, for me, is just so clearly like, this one's so epic that there's a whole war going on. And although there's a main villain in the second and third one, I felt the levity of the war so much more in the second one.
I like what you're saying with that, because the third one really did feel like there's not much threat from anyone other than the big bad.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too, is that the first two were so clearly defined that the first one is Toothless and Hiccup learning to bring their communities together and learn to accept one another. The second one is all about Hiccup and Toothless becoming leaders of their group. So then the third one becomes less defined when they're searching for new homes. Obviously, they go to 2 different homes, but I still kind of feel like Burke didn't have to be abandoned. So it seems like more wishy-washy in that one. It has a less defined theme.
I'll agree with you that it felt like, are we getting into spoilers? Is that what we're doing?
I guess. I mean, who's really going to watch or listen to this episode that... it's the third part of a trilogy.
I'll tell you what, we're doing some spoilers. I agree with you, Isaac. I felt like them leaving Burke and then just staying at the first island they got to was a little dissatisfying for me.
I completely agree. That's exactly how I felt about it too. Because especially since they hyped up Burke so much. They were fleshing out Burke. They've explored Burke so much. They've built it up. It's been there for 7 generations, but then they leave it and go to a different island and everyone just accepts it so quickly.
Right, because they're Vikings. That's what the Vikings did. That's their whole thing.
I mean, they're nomadic people.
They're nomadic people. Burke is not the island. Burke is the people. It's just like Asgard. It's literally Thor Ragnarok. That's their whole thing.
There was a lot of. There was some great imagery. I'm surprised you went obviously with the Norse thing because they're Norse. But to me, it was sort of like the church is the people, not the building, was the immediate reference
I was going for the movie reference as opposed to the religious reference. In literally the end of Thor Ragnarok, they're like, Asgard is not a place, it's a people.
Right.
So I was just sticking with the different third part of a trilogy that...
Right.
So I didn't find that dissatisfying at all. I thought that made total sense. It's like they're on to the next home now. In 7 more generations, they'll have another problem that arises and they'll have to move again. Because that's what they do. They're a nomadic people. And it doesn't matter where Burke is where they are. It's not the island, it's wherever they call home.
Yeah, I'm with that.
They're clearly a vibrant and interesting group of people that have learned how to work together and coexist as a unit better than most civilizations probably ever.
True.
So Ethan, I've got 2 questions for you, and I'm going to ask them both now so that I don't forget about them later, but you can answer them one at a time.
Okay.
The first is, how does this movie change you, Ethan Edgehill's opinion about cinematography in animated films? Does it have any impact at all? And the second one I might have already forgotten.
Definitely. I think that this was one of the first instances in at least sort of like...
Wait, hold on. I remember. Second question. Is this the greatest animated trilogy of all time? Get back to the cinematography thing.
So this is the first... This is the first movie I've seen, at least in recent memory, as far as Western animation goes, like American, sort of our school of thought on the whole animated movie thing, that really sort of does the thing that we always talk about in live action movies, is using the camera as a character. And that's really how I felt about this one. Is it like this looks like a Peter Jackson movie, just animated. Like it is Lord of the Rings. It's got the crazy expansive aerial shots, and it tells a narrative with two characters that never speak.
I thought that was amazing.
That can only make like noises. And it tells like a compelling
they're
narrative.
teaching each other things, and they're learning things, and it's this whole beautiful narrative through all this vast expanse, and all you have to work with is clouds, ocean, and facial expressions.
Like I could have probably watched, I would say 45 minutes to an hour of just Toothless and the Light Fury existing together and doing their whole thing before I got bored of it.
You probably did.
No, like straight, all at once. No, that's not.
Oh, I see.
That's not an hour of an hour and a half long movie. Is not that.
It's 110 minutes, it's an hour and 50
Was
minutes.
it really?
It's a long movie, yeah.
That went by
Didn't
quick.
feel like that at all.
Compared to the Lego Movie 2, the second part, which felt like it was the longest movie I've ever watched in my life, this felt like it went by really quick.
So this does then give you a newfound respect for what animators do. Or what animators could do.
What animators could do, yeah, for sure.
I think How to Train Your Dragon, the series, is a testament to how great animation can truly be. And also how great DreamWorks can be, but especially pushing forward the medium.
Oh, I agree with you. Just on the DreamWorks thing, there was incredible attention to detail on that, just the character model side of things. And this was something I noticed throughout the whole thing, because I remembered in the preview, we got to see Hiccup with the beard. And if you watch the movie, I was paying very close attention to it. His like peach fuzz grows.
Yeah.
From beginning to like final scene, and then of course there's the final scene with the beard, and that to me, that was like an insane attention to detail, because they could have left that out completely and us been none the wiser.
Well, so that was a big thing for the Vikings and those kind of people, though, is that's when you become a man, is when you can grow your beard. So,
Right.
So that's
And
what
I
he's
think that's
doing in this
important.
movie. He's finally realizing his destiny. He's becoming the chief that he knew he could always be, even if people don't necessarily always believe in him. Not everybody. And he's turning into this grown person.
Well, and the other thing is too, is that when I was saying that there's not a very defined theme in this, I totally realized that there is a defined theme, and it's that they are like becoming full adults, as you said, but then also finding like partners outside of their friendship, and they have to realize that they have to go with those individuals as well.
Right.
Like, Hiccup has to marry Astrid, which is beautiful, and Toothless has to go with the Light Fury.
I liked Bright Fury better, honestly. I think it was a better name. I'm not gonna lie to you. When he's like, "Yeah, yours is better, probably," I was like, "It's not."
Yeah.
Bright Fury is a way better name. But no, I loved that whole interaction with those two, with the dragons. I realized.
Can I voice a complaint?
Yeah.
I cringed, and I know I was supposed to, but that doesn't make it okay. Every time Tough Nut went on that whole how to be a man, just like, this is man talk time. You got to marry the woman. We're gonna show you how to be an eligible bachelor. It drove me insane.
I can understand
every time Justin Ruppel's character did that.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious.
Did you?
Yeah, you laughed audibly
God.
more than once when he came on screen and said the thing. I was sitting next to you in the theater. I'm just gonna out you real quick. You laughed
that's fine.
more than once.
I'm fine with admitting that I laughed at it, but listen, this is a transition to the next question. Is this the greatest animated trilogy of all time? This holds it back.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's supposed to. That's the point, though. Is it's
consistent.
supposed to be cringy. It's supposed to be like, why are we still having these conversations? That kind of thing. Like, why is this the accepted standard? That's the thing. Is like, Hiccup is this model for what masculinity means going forward.
Right.
Is he's not the typical man's man. He's not the guy that Tough Nut thinks he should be, which props on replacing TJ Miller. Great choice. Great choice on replacing TJ Miller. Proud of you, DreamWorks, for not just steaming ahead with that one. But anyway, that's his whole thing, is that like he's everybody. He's not the big tough Channing Tatum type.
Well, and it's also good for like the other group, Snotlout, Tough Nut, Rough Nut, and Fish Legs, that they are like consistent throughout the trilogy, that they're like aging and growing and becoming more emotionally competent, but they're also like still their joking selves, and they have that banter that they've carried on through the first two movies and the entire series. Like that's kind of what they've been doing for the greater part of it, so it makes sense that in this new situation they would keep acting like that, and they've kind of kept up that comedic beat for those characters, which I've always found kind of funny. And it's the only parts that feel a little bit DreamWorks to me, is when they do those types of like silly, like stupid jokes. But I think it's endearing to when there's so much like darkness going on. That I don't mind having those like little moments with them.
That, and I thought in this one in particular, the comedic timing on those little bits was done better than in the previous movies.
I agree with that.
I think that they nailed the writing a little bit better with that, because like I did actually laugh. I don't remember exactly what the quote was, but the last time that he said it, when he just kind of appears out of nowhere and it's just like, Hiccup, my man, let's talk about it, Hickey. And
I'll agree with you on this point. Overall, this was like a small thing that bothered me. And I think that, Isaac, you make excellent points. I just don't think it landed well with me personally.
Well, maybe that means you don't need to learn that lesson, though.
That's true. That's true.
Or maybe that you do.
I did think when Kristen Wiig did the like endless, no beat, annoying scene. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When Rough Nut is, oh my gosh, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Where she just is talking and talking and talking and talking. What is the villain's name here?
Grimmel.
Yeah.
Okay. Grimmel.
I like that Grimmel is the man who hunted all of the Night Furies. I think that was important that they wrapped up that arc, or that little teaser that they introduced in the second one. But at the same time, I also didn't feel like he was explored enough. Like, I didn't understand why he was doing it other than just for the hunt. Whereas Drago...
Well, Isaac, you're the guy that knows everything about every character, right? So I gotta understand how, like, oh, we finally got some new... I don't know everything. Crap.
Well,
you know,
I mean, like, but I don't think he could have just had, like, some other reason for it. Whereas, like, Drago did it, like, created his army so that he could take dragons' power away from them and to empower humans again, because his entire family was destroyed by dragons. I think it would have been interesting to have some type of compelling reason for him, or at least to have someone, I don't know. Like, I just felt like people were hyping up Grimmel so much that he was like a threat that they've never dealt with before. But I was like, what about Drago? What's so much worse?
That's why he's a threat they've never dealt with before, though, because he doesn't have any other motivation.
Right, he just wants to watch the world. He's the Joker.
Yeah. He's the like base human instinct of like, I just want to like kill this thing with my bare hands. He's the caveman instinct.
Is he a lawful evil? Chaotic evil.
I think that's
Chaotic
probably just
evil.
I think it's probably just me. Like, I really enjoy when there's like a reason for everything and it's like smooth over, like it just makes sense. And I think you're right that that's what it is, that it's like a Joker type of character in How to Train Your Dragon, which I think is cool. But I'm excited to like watch it again and look more in depth into it and try to figure him out more.
Oh, for sure, I'm with you. And you may find something, and that would be great, and you may not, and that's great.
I agree.
And that's the thing, is like he is like, you know, he's the representation of those people that go to Africa and like, you know, cut rhino horns off. Those kind of guys. He's the that sort of embodiment of the truly awful people in the world that just like, you know, murder animals for sport. Not even like hunting, they just like, they're poachers and stuff. What are you showing us, Tyler?
This is just a sweet movie poster I'd never seen for this film.
Oh, that is neat. That is super neat. What is that? Russian? Yeah, so Russia.
That's awesome.
Some sort of Cyrillic language. I have no idea. Great podcasting we got here.
Yeah, great. This
Three
is a
dudes
Russian
look at a movie poster
can't
that
see.
you can't see.
And that we
Got 'em.
can't even read.
That we can't even read. I bet it says Dragons 3.
I think that's probably a good guess.
Anyway, is this the greatest animated trilogy of all time? Yeah.
100%.
I say yes. I say it. Listen. Toy Story 1, you get points for what you did for computer animation, okay? You get points for Tom Hanks and Tim Allen with excellent performances. You get points for a well-told story. You lose points for a not that good story.
Toy Story 1 is overhyped for how good it is.
How to Train Your
back.
Dragon.
It's not that great.
Woody is the villain
It is.
here.
It completely destroys how nice he is in 2.
Yeah, Woody is the bad guy. He tries to kill Buzz, and then he like torments a human.
Here's where I say yes. Okay, so Toy Story 3.
Oh, hold on. Is there any other contenders?
No.
100% no.
No.
Not Cars, not... How many Shreks are there?
I haven't seen this is one of the there's a Miyazaki trilogy, right?
I could not comment on
Okay,
that.
so
I do not know either.
There's a Miyazaki trilogy, I'm pretty sure. I read something about that. The director of these movies signed on to do the second one only if they let him do a third one and turn it into a trilogy. And he was citing something about Miyazaki having a trilogy and citing that. So if there's a Miyazaki trilogy, you can't enter a conversation like this without, if that's in the realm that I have not seen. So just bear that in mind, people that are listening out there, if you exist, going, well, Hayao Miyazaki made X movies, and I'm going to be like, okay, you're right. They're probably phenomenal, but I don't remember what they are. So that's my shortcoming as a movie buff. But as far as, like Western animation, absolutely no contenders other than this and Toy Story. I just said a lot of words. Sorry about that.
Well, I'm trying to think of other 3-part animated.
Nothing comes, you got Cars.
Cars, Lion King.
Not even close.
No.
There's 3 Aladdin films.
Nope, those aren't contenders.
No, definitely not.
There's 3 Aladdin films?
Yeah.
How many
there's
made it to theaters, though?
One.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Disney is not used to making quality sequels for theatrical release. So
here's my thing.
Okay. They have the Kung Fu Panda is a 3-part all.
I have only seen the first one,
theater.
and it is not as good as the first one in the series.
Despicable Me has 3 films.
oh,
I have only seen the first one, and it's not as good as the first one in the series.
Ice Age has 5.
Not a trilogy. Shrek has 4.
Shrek has 4.
Yeah.
I've only seen 3. Oh,
Kung Fu
Final
Panda
chapter.
is a really good trilogy. Like I'd
I've
say it's
heard that.
below Toy Story, but each one is similar to like How to Train Your Dragon, where there's a purpose or something learned for the main character in each one until the third one concludes and that character has fully grown up.
Yeah. Additionally, there's 3 Hotel Transylvania films. Those are all theatrical release. 3 Madagascar films.
Only seen the first one. Not as good as this first one.
Yeah.
There is 4 Lego movie pieces. Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, Hero Love Pets, Spider-Verse is getting 3 parts. That will win. Oh man, those are good.
Well, we'll have to see how
I was gonna say maybe.
well the second one
Yeah.
holds up.
The second one might be awful. They might be completely out of
Second one
ideas.
will probably, if history tells us anything, the third one is the one to watch out for.
Yeah.
Except for Cars.
I meant with Spider-Man.
Oh, I
thought you just meant trilogies.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, I agree with that. Return of the Jedi, not that great. No, so for me, I don't know. I don't know whether or not I like Toy Story 3 better than this movie. I'm gonna have to suss that out during this recording process. But I know that I like the first one of these movies better than Toy Story 1 by like a pretty decent margin when I try to eliminate the nostalgia factor of it.
I completely agree with that. That How to Train Your Dragon 2, Toy Story 2, those are very difficult to decide. And the same for the third Hidden World and Toy Story 3. Those are difficult decisions. But if those are 2 equal ones, How to Train Your Dragon 1 is a much more compelling and intriguing story than Toy Story 1 is.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable to me how good How to Train Your Dragon 1 was.
It literally flew under the radar.
Like, I remember seeing it. I think I saw it in theaters, maybe on a date or something. I don't know. Because this was before I was like a film buff or anything. I just went to the movies because I like to go to the movies because it was the thing to do. And I remember seeing it and being like, holy crap, this is very good.
I realized that How to Train Your Dragon 1 was amazing when Hiccup first rides Toothless. And that it blew me away completely. And I knew that this was going to be something that was going to hold up. That was something special in and of itself. And then you watch the second one and it blows your mind again. But because I always feel like there's a definitive moment when I watch a movie when I realize it's going to be amazing or it's going to be well received. Like in Frozen, first watching Let It Go for the first time before hearing it on the radio or anything like that.
Oh,
when I
yeah,
first
that
saw
was
that in
huge.
theaters, I was like, this is something completely different that Disney's never done. This is going to resonate. This is going to be huge.
This is going to be. I remember feeling that way as well. I'm trying to think of other examples of that. Rafiki holds Simba up to the Pride lands. Mm-hmm. That's a big moment. It's like 3 seconds in.
Where is it going to go from here?
Right.
Honestly, and honestly though, that's sort of the problem I have with Lion King, isn't it? It
What?
sort of climaxes in the first minute.
Oh, yeah.
Until
My
you get the
problem-
wildebeest.
I mean, but
Yeah,
like either way, how long in the movie does Mufasa die?
Like 10, 20 minutes?
Exactly. Okay, moving on. I rest
okay,
my
here's-
case. I'm gonna tuck
here's my
tuck
problem.
my cell phone case into bed. I rest my case.
Listen, people have made the argument against this for Lion King, and I'm not here to take Lion King away from you. I love the movie, okay, listener, I do. My biggest problem with Lion King is Simba being gone for as long as he is, and then like Scar being a bad leader, and like because the hyenas are in charge, it doesn't rain anymore. It's just like a weird mystical Scar's poor leadership leads to bad weather. I don't know. That bothers me a lot more than it should.
The thing
I don't know.
that always bothers me with The Lion King is that when Scar starts confronting Simba and then none of the lionesses defend Simba at all, that they just automatically agree with the ruler who's making them all starve instead of believing Simba. And I'm always baffled by that. And I understand your arguments.
You're gonna have to get a little more geopolitical with that one if you want to understand why they why they just automatically agree with the leader. I think there's a little bit of like slightly post-war or post-Cold War commentary that you might be missing there, just a little bit.
Yeah,
but that's not okay. Your commentary needs to be timeless if you're going to be Lion King. Anyway, Isaac, you said but, so you say you hear the argument.
Yes.
What did follow up?
But I think it's important to, I don't know, I still really enjoy the film as a whole. I still feel the epic nature of the story, and I still enjoy the story, but I acknowledge that it's not a perfect film. There's definitely plot points that don't make sense and make Simba's character weaker because of it.
Yes.
Same.
I feel like I love Lion King. I
do too. It's a very good movie. But for me, like
hammer that home.
most of the things I remember from that movie happen in like the first 30 minutes. Like
the
they're
third
mostly
act, I don't
kid
remember
Simba.
as well as...
Yeah, that makes sense. But for me, I have been getting into, like, I listen to a lot of the scores sometimes of movies that I really get into. So I listen to King of Pride Rock, which is the final theme when Simba climbs up the Pride Rock and roars again, and that gives me chills every time. So I flip out over that. But I understand why young Simba sticks with you the most.
Thank you for slamming me back into my next point. The music in all three of these movies is absolutely fantastic.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
It is underrated as far as movie scores go. People like to talk a lot about, especially animated movie scores recently. These are underrated movie scores. Like
That's absolutely true.
I've never even heard of the guy that did this.
Who did do it? I don't
Is it
even know.
the same
John
guy for all?
Powell.
Is it? Did he do all three of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had never heard of that guy until this moment.
I think you've played John Powell.
It's entirely possible.
If
He does a lot
you
of
wanna
DreamWorks
get
movies.
chills, you gotta go and listen to Test Flight and listen to it on repeat. That is the jam that always gets me. That and Romantic Flight. Those are two jams from the original that stay through as themes throughout the rest of them.
John Powell does like all of the DreamWorks movies.
And he did Solo.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, Solo was really good.
Yeah,
Except for
you
that.
got a Star
Except for that
Wars composer in
weird
here.
like meta part where they played the Imperial March in a like propaganda film.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
That's
he
actually
did-
established in the cartoons as well, so...
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't watch any of the cartoons. He did freaking The Road to El Dorado. That song or that soundtrack slapped.
El Dorado.
That's
Agent Cody Banks.
that's the Elton John score that I'm here for. Okay, that's the one that gets me. Like I get Lion King, I get Circle of Life and whatever, but like when I think about Elton John in animated movies from the late 90s, early 2000s, I think about The Road to El Dorado, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
When I think John Powell in the early 2000s, the first thing I think of is Agent Cody Banks.
I think of Face Off.
He did both of those?
Yeah, he did Face Off.
I remember seeing
He did
Agent
Rat
Cody
Race.
Banks at Family Video.
He did The Bourne Identity.
Yeah, and he did Solo, Star
He did The
Wars.
Italian Job. What? Who is this guy?
He's a big dude.
He did just the third X-Men movie.
Last Stand. Last Stand is underrated. I said it. Listen,
I'm with
there's
it.
a lot of hate for this movie.
He also did Kung Fu Panda 2, but not 1 or 3. Anyway, John Powell snapped on this one. These were good scores. I guess the first one did get nominated for Best Original Score, so they might not be underrated. They might be rated.
Adequately rated.
Adequately rated.
This is something Walt Disney was really adamant about when he created Snow White and his animated shorts before it, was to have music that you could listen to after you watched the movie so that it would remain in your mind for much longer after you see it.
And that way you can sell more toys.
Well, sure. I mean, that's part of it, but I think that's something that goes underlooked, especially in non-musicals, where I still have How to Train Your Dragon music in my Disney playlist. Where,
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm willing to corrupt it a little bit for that and Greatest Showman. So having those songs are so impactful and emotional, and I think that's important to have because they're just so iconic now, and you connect to them so much, and they're so memorable compared to other scores.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
John Powell did Drumline.
You remember Ethan?
He did Shrek.
We went to a PWI.
Yeah.
And we went to the same thing but for high school basically. the HBCUs understand drumline.
Yeah.
The PWIs
Yeah,
do
that thing
not.
they did in Drumline actually happens every year. It's called the Honda Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, and
every
it's
year.
real.
Yeah, it's real.
And it's exactly
It's
like
exactly like that. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Drumline. That's for a different day. Back to school 2K19. We talk about
that.
Drumline.
Yeah, I could do that for Back to School 2019. We've got a few.
We've promised
Somebody
promised like 11 movies for Back to School 2K19 already.
It's a long series, okay? There's some great school movies.
Because we did it
I got
last
a
year.
DM the
We
other
did it
day.
last year. People were like, "How did you not put this movie in there?" And we're like, "How did we not put this movie in there?"
Did we not put this? We did freaking. What was the one we did? Not Sierra Burgess is a loser, but the other one.
Yeah, we did.
To All the Boys I've Loved
To
Before.
All the Boys I Loved Before. Yeah.
I got a DM the other day on Instagram. Somebody was like, "You guys should review." Ethan likes older films and more avant-garde films. You guys should do Perks of Being a Wallflower. And I was like, "We already did."
We already did. It's a great movie.
I also like art films. Thank you. I don't know why you're DMing me. If you're going for Ethan's suggestion.
Fair enough. So, did we land on is this the best animated trilogy?
Listen, listen. I say yes, hard stance, but I see your opinion otherwise.
Well, here's the thing, though, is in
Tetralogy.
in
Toy Story.
in 4 months it won't matter anyway.
Yeah, this would be undisputed.
Yeah, as soon as
Once
Toy Story
there's a-
4 comes out, this will be the undisputed best trilogy because this is going to remain a trilogy. Hopefully. Hopefully.
It has to.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would want to come out of How to Train Your Dragon is another Netflix series that expands what happens between 2 and 3. Because
That's
there's
fine.
a few
That's fine.
villains that, like, the people that took over after Drago, I'm so fascinated to see who they are. I'd love to know who they are. So there's certain things like that I'd like to see.
They were all worthless, though.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, just absolutely worthless. Like, they would have never taken over Berk.
No.
Berk.
Yeah, the Isle of Berk.
Have you read the books, Isaac?
I have not. I haven't dived too much into that at all.
Okay, so the books, it's very clearly a loose adaptation. Like, the book is a completely different story. The names are similar, but other than that, nothing.
Yeah, the first book is about, like, Hiccup going through the ritual of finding and claiming his dragon.
Yeah, like Burke is a society already
Of
pro
dragon riders.
But there's a lot of there's one thing in the books that I think would be a valuable resource for you is that Hiccup is writing the book How to Train Your Dragon, and he's got like note sheets that have like this dragon. You know, in the first one when Fish Legs is like I can't remember any of the dragons called, but it's like +5 agility, +3 heads.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So Hiccup is writing that book in the first book. So he's got like stat sheets for all these dragons. Anyway, David Tennant reads them, and they're on YouTube for free, and they're amazing to fall asleep to.
That was the original ASMR right there.
That was what put me to bed every night for like 2 years in college.
Accurate. David Tennant reading that.
The island of Berk.
The Island of Berk. A common or garden dragon.
This is Berk-san.
Yes.
And I like that, like, the farther into the movie they got, the more that accent started coming out of Hiccup, that, like, it's something you grow into, I guess, as you become an older citizen of Berk. Because in the first one, he's like, this is Berk.
Oh, hi,
Welcome to
Dad.
Berk.
Hi, Dad. And Dad's like, Hiccup. You're
just
such
got
a
Hiccup
disappointment
on
as my son.
Hiccup Horrendous Haddock the Third.
Can't believe you're a traitor. You joined in with the dragons. You're no son of mine.
Dad, if you just listen to me, I swear.
You just gestured to, like, all of me.
Okay, minor complaint with the first one. I don't want to get too graphic here. Mom's breastplate wouldn't be that big.
No, definitely after
Once she
you
was
see
introduced,
Velka
yeah.
as well. Yeah. You're like, whoa.
Whoa, wait a minute. That's not what I was thinking was going to happen here.
Yeah, no.
Effective use of flashbacks in How to Train Your Dragon 3. It kept the father's original motivations of like, there's a land where the dragons exist, and if we find it, then they won't attack Berk anymore. And like, that was good, because it was, I was afraid they were going to be like, oh yeah, Mr. Haddock this Jr. was a big old fan of the dragons when he was a young man, but no, he was like, his whole existence was to stop them, and that was a good continuity.
Name's Hiccup. Mr. Haddock was my father.
That's the thing I love about Stoic. I think Stoic's character is like amazing. I think he's so good that he like is able to conflict with Hiccup while still being able to completely understand where he comes from, and his whole motivation in the second one is so good. I think he's got one of the best like character developments. Like I think he's a great example of an animated father.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's a father in the way that Mr. Incredible could never be.
Oh. We're throwing shade at Pixar today, but
okay, but that's what this whole third movie was, though. They're like, oh, they're gonna put Toy Story 4 out. We're gonna put How to Train Your Dragon 3 out, and we're coming for blood, Pixar. We're coming for your throats.
Who's ready to fight for Best Animated Picture this year?
Right,
we're put up the Dukes.
Yeah,
what studio is gonna take it?
Oh my gosh! Do you think this? That's a good question. Oscars just happened.
Disney didn't win.
Well done, Spider-Verse.
Yeah, Disney didn't win.
First win for a non-Disney in like 14 years.
Yep.
Yeah. Which I was completely okay with. I know I'm a huge Disney guy. Disney is the most magical company on earth, everyone. But I don't think they released the best animated picture this year by far. I think Wreck-It Ralph 2 and Incredibles 2 were very shallow, especially compared to Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that was my thing. Is I said this about a couple different movies going into Oscar season, where like when Bohemian Rhapsody won Best Picture at the Golden Globes and then got nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, I was like, okay, if Bohemian Rhapsody was the best picture of 2018, we just need to wipe 2018 off the books and go do it again. We did it wrong, and we should be ashamed of ourselves. It's like, it's a very good movie. There's no way that was the best movie that came out all year. There's no way. And
can I tell you just some real quick Oscar talk? I have not seen Green Book. I intend to see it. I haven't seen it. But when it came to, I also haven't seen Roma. I did see Spider-Verse. Totally deserved Best Animated Film. By like a mile. That might be the best animated movie to have come out in the past. I'm trying to think.
Right, and that's my thing is like I haven't even seen Spider-Verse. I knew it was the best animated picture just based on the way people talk about it. Like,
oh man,
on the movement it inspired in people. So I'm excited to see it when it finally. Right. I think I'll be able to power through it on the small screen.
So that was amazing. And then every scene they showed from Roma during like the nominations, and every time I've looked at a TV while Roma is on, is the most beautiful shot in the history of cinema.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, that movie is amazing.
And that movie let the rest of the world and the rest of the studios know that like Netflix is a contender.
And Alfonso Cuarón is not to be messed with.
They got, they had multiple movies nominated for Oscars this year. They got Alfonso Cuarón and the Coen brothers to direct movies for him. So like they're out there, doing the thing. But yeah, I think Roma deserved the win. I have watched it very recently, and it is an incredible movie. But there was no way that a black and white Spanish language Netflix movie was going to win Best Picture this year.
Well, it won Best Foreign Language Film.
Yeah, but like there was no way it was going to win like the normal Best Picture. The world's not ready for that yet.
Well, there was at least 3 films that tackled a very similar theme in the Best Picture category.
Yeah.
And I think one of those 3 was going to win.
Yeah.
And one did.
Anyway, so I'm curious to see how this year shakes out, because we've got some pretty, unlike last year where Disney put up a pretty weak front comparatively. We've got
this, Frozen 2.
And Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Lion King remake should probably count, TBH. I'm just gonna come out and say it. That's not live action. No, I'm sorry. That's not live action. Yeah, but like it's not. There's no animals in it.
Oh, yeah, but they shot it in real places.
Right, but there's no animals in it. Like they just went out there with a drone and we're like, we're gonna make a movie now. I hope this turns out when we put everything in it.
John Favreau obviously deserves
either that or it was Andy Serkis running around being like being a lion.
And then being everything
else. It's just Jon Favreau and Andy Serkis out in the desert in the Serengeti. Just like I really hope we come up with something good there.
Under a tent is just like, oh man, we're gonna make so much money off this.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just looking at animated films, if you Google animated movies 2019, Lion King 2019 shows up. Let's see. So does Aladdin.
Well, and I mean, this might be the year where we get a conversation of like, where does CGI stop? When does it start becoming animation?
I think, listen, here's the animated films coming out this year. I don't know if Lego Movie 2 will get an Oscar nod, but you've got How to Train Your Dragon.
It certainly, I mean, I think it'll get a nomination. There's not that many, there's not that many heavy hitters that come out,
unless there's foreign films or something like that.
Yeah, there's not that. It's not entirely animated either. There's live action scenes.
That's true.
Secret Life of Pets 2. I think you've got a small dark horse with that. It could be great. Who knows? Toy Story 4 obviously gonna get nominated. Frozen 2 obviously gonna get nominated. Spies in Disguise. I don't know anything about that. Wonder Park, Ugly Dolls, Angry Birds 2, Missing Link.
Missing Link stands a shot to actually be pretty good.
I've heard there's good people involved on the creative side of it. So that gives me hope.
It's got a good cast.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I've got a
Adam's Family.
really big interest in Ugly Dolls. I've really liked the theme song of the trailers so far. I think it looks really fun. Looks like a guilty pleasure like Trolls was for me.
Interesting.
I loved Trolls.
I'll tell you what I'm not. I do not want to see Wonder Park.
Oh, 100%.
At no point has
Oh my
Wonder
God,
Park
no.
sold me on going to see that movie. Every time I'm like, this is like good. Good try, Nickelodeon. You're out there doing the thing, guys.
Make another Jimmy Neutron or
Yeah,
something,
seriously.
please.
Like, how about you stick to what you're good? Stay in your lane, buddy. Ugly Dolls.
I've never heard
I don't know. It looks like it could either be great or it could not be great. I have no idea.
There is a Daniel Radcliffe, Adam Lambert, Jim Gaffigan, Meghan Trainor movie shot on a $75 million budget, 110 minutes long. Playmobil the movie?
What?
Oh, I think I did hear about that, actually.
Comes out August 7th.
What?
I remember
What
seeing that
is
somewhere.
this?
Oh my
To compete with,
God.
like, Lego Movie. I might have watched
Yeah,
the
they're just
trailer.
going after the Lego movie with Daniel Radcliffe.
What is this? Oh, golly.
I had some Playmobiles.
I never did.
I had a couple. It looks like this one character just screams the entire movie. Every shot, the woman that's on this horse, every shot is her screaming.
You're seeing different pictures than I am. I don't see a woman on a horse. This looks terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway. Who wrote it? Blaze Hemingway.
Not Miller and Lord.
Not Miller and Lord, no. Known for writing Playmobil the movie. Okay, so that...
Look at this picture.
Oh.
I've got like...
Hold on.
I've got like...
He also is announced to be writing Settlers of Catan.
The movie?
The movie?
The movie.
Oh, God. That's going to be as bad as Battleship, the movie. Oh, Lord.
Maybe.
Lord save us, college kids. Anyway.
No, but Disney, this is going to be one of the biggest years yet. Like, they're going to break studio records 100%. I've been waiting for 2019 probably since the last D23 in 2017.
Well, okay.
This year is going to be insane.
So they've got Frozen 2. They've got Toy Story 4. They've got Avengers Endgame. They've got the last probably ever Star Wars movie.
Yep.
No, there's a Ryan
It's
Johnson
not going to
trilogy
happen.
coming
It's
up.
not going to happen. There's no way.
I've seen reports all day that it's
There's
happening.
no way it's going to happen. Anyway, it's going to be the last like proper Star Wars movie. Like Disney's got it the cut out for them this year.
John Favreau has a Disney Plus series about
And they've got
Star Wars
Aladdin
coming
and
out.
they've got Lion King. How did I forget that? Yeah, this is a this
also
is a big
Dumbo.
year.
They'll just make a few bucks on the
Dumbo,
side along
yeah.
with Captain Marvel.
Oh my
in
God,
the
you're forgetting so many things. And the new Spider-Man. They've got a movie coming out every month, don't they? From
yeah,
here on
pretty
out,
much.
yeah. Okay.
It's I'm booked, you know. I've got tons of movies to go to. So.
Yeah, they've got a movie coming out every month for the rest of the year, don't they? March, Endgame's
I don't
in
think
April,
September,
right?
October. I can look at my
Huh, that's a bunch of movies. When does Dumbo come out?
March.
Oh, wow, I thought that was the last one. Because Aladdin comes out in
my
May.
schedule. Yeah, Captain Marvel's beginning of March. Dumbo's March, end of March. And then Avengers, Descendants. If everyone's interested, I'm very excited for that. That's going to crush Disney Channel.
Endgame is April 26th. And then Aladdin comes out in May. June is Toy Story. July is Spider-Man. July is also Lion King.
August is Artemis Fowl.
Is that Disney?
Is that Disney?
Yeah, it's gonna be. That's gonna be like A Wrinkle in Time. I'm thinking.
That's going to be
I don't-
awful, yeah. There's no way it's good. That book cannot be made into a movie. It's not possible.
And then September, October we have off, and then Frozen 2, Star Wars Episode 9. Disney is gonna make like $1 billion every month just off the films.
Yeah, basically.
It's gonna be insane.
Yep. That's a big year. That's a big year.
Oh yeah.
That's a big year.
Man, you know they went to the table with DreamWorks and were like, DreamWorks was like, okay, when can we put How to Train Your Dragon?
February or September.
Right?
When are we not going to get stomped?
We get it. Like, it's fine. Do what you're going to do.
We're going to put out at least a solid contender this year.
Let us put this movie out. DreamWorks doesn't make anything anymore.
No.
Because
of the
they're owned
problem
by
is that
Universal now.
Yeah. Illuminations. The CEO of Illuminations controls DreamWorks now.
Yeah.
So it's all a Comcast company now. So we'll see if anything great comes out of it in the next few years as well. Hopefully this same team can just keep working on stuff. But
I didn't see any Minions in this movie. I thought that was a weird flex on their part, but.
I hope that they leave the Minions out of movies that aren't Minions forever.
yeah, I agree with
Minions are so easy to sell. Listen, Ethan, I don't know where you were when the first Despicable Me came out. Probably not watching animated cinema. When I saw
I wasn't
that
watching
movie,
kids' movies, I'll tell you that much.
When I saw that movie, I was in on the Minion.
The first time I saw Minion, I was like, this is going to ruin everything. I knew instantly. It's like how you guys felt about Let It Go, but like the opposite. I was like, this is going to be the thing that breaks the world.
Facebook moms everywhere are
Oh
going
my
to retweet
God,
this.
yes. And it's
Oh
just
my
gone
God.
full circle and back so many times to the point where, like, we've got, like, depressed kids making depressed kid Minion memes. Like, oh my God. I'm so ready for the Minion thing to be done. Just done.
Okay, I've got a few more thoughts
Go,
about How to Train
hit
Your
him.
Dragon.
Hit him, man. Go for it.
All right, How to Train Your Dragon wrapped up so many points and so many little bits that were established outside of the films that came full circle. Like Toothless's tail, that was actually created in a Christmas special and was designed by Hiccup, but he gave it to Toothless, and Toothless didn't want it because he wanted to always ride with Hiccup. But then, and that's why they even talk about it a little bit, that Astrid mentioned it.
Yeah, I was
that
wondering
he had
about
already
that.
made it before. Yeah, so this was something created like pre How to Train Your Dragon 2 in a Christmas special. And then now it came full circle that it was like the same design, only painted black. It was beautiful. There's other things too, like their dragon scaled armor that they explained it away that like dragons shed. There's other little things like that I just like appreciated that they explained, that there was some thought put into everything that was created for this universe.
I feel like that's an excellent point, Isaac, because I feel like when, the leadership team on Star Wars sat down and they were like, okay, there's a lot of books. Do we reference them or no? And they were like, nope, forget the books.
Hard yeet.
Self-contained, hard yeet on the books, self-contained story. And it's sort of, they've sort of made the How to Train Your Dragon move with Solo, because there was a lot of books and TV shows that happened, and then all of a sudden there's this huge Solo cameo of a character that otherwise, if you only watched the films, you would have no reason to think isn't dead. And you've got the same thing with the MCU, where it's like, yeah, Daredevil's part of the MCU, but is he?
Nope.
No.
And so is Ghost Rider, and so is the
Punisher,
and the Punisher, and all those. And it's like Ghost Rider. That's a perfectly good character to bring in to fight Thanos. That's like a proper hero with like big time powers, who I'm pretty sure has killed Thanos before. But when we bring him into the MCU, we're not gonna do it. So I like what you're saying about How to Train Your Dragon. I'm with you. I think the continuity from show to movie, the giving credit to all parts of the canon in the largest parts of the canon is important.
And that's something else that was great about this trilogy, is that each story is self-contained, where you don't need to consume any of the other media surrounding it, but it only will enhance seeing the movies. And
yes,
just like you said, that you might not have even seen How to Train Your Dragon 2, but you can fully appreciate seeing How to Train Your Dragon 3 without seeing those previous films, because they explain enough to get everyone caught up, but don't overdo it. I think they captured that balance perfectly.
Yeah, they definitely did the Harry Potter thing in all of these movies, where like it starts with Hiccup being like, this is Burke. Let's talk about where Burke is at right now in time. Let's give you a little basis, because every Harry Potter book, it's just like, Harry Potter was a boy that was almost killed by Voldemort.
There are Harry Potter books?
Yeah, 7 of them. One less than movies.
I just recently watched them all, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
Were the movies any good?
Oh, they're fine.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of mood you got me in, honestly. There are some days where I wake up and I'm just like, good morning! Chamber of Secrets is a travesty!
Here's the truth. Somebody the other day on Twitter, I retweeted it. It was like, say the worst thing about Star Wars or something, and they quote tweeted it and said the fandom. And I retweeted that. I almost think I dislike the Harry Potter fandom more.
Ooh.
I
Let's hear a
definitely
little bit
disagree
more
with
about
that.
that. I am definitely interested to hear what you have to think about that.
Listen, the Star Wars fandom is like coming around. Like there was like a huge contingency that was like, Last Jedi was great, and then they were like, actually, Fortnite this movie, and then now they're all coming back around and being like, wait a minute, why do we all hate this? This is awesome. That scene with the Praetorian Guards is insane. Very cool. Very cool. Why do we all hate Rose? Why? She's not that bad. Whatever, We were all mean to her on Instagram. Probably shouldn't have been. We probably shouldn't have done that. She's just a person. She didn't even write the story,
Yeah, that was horrible.
but they saved Finn. They saved Finn. This is a part 2 of 3 parts. I'm a big fan of Star Wars again. I also just freaking love Star Wars. I don't even like watch the films that often, but sometimes I'll catch myself sitting there just crying thinking about when I first saw The Force Awakens and I heard the fanfare and I just like sobbed openly in the theater, and I revisit that experience regularly. The Harry Potter fandom, I don't know. They don't know what to do with J.K. Rowling and her like Twitter obsession of being like, oh
she
yeah,
has
by
to
the
stop
way,
is the thing. She has to stop.
She
must
Warner
be.
Brothers should restrain her.
She must be stopped.
She must be.
I loved
She has to
I
be.
loved the tweet that went around that was like, you wake up Freaky Friday style in J.K. Rowling's body. For one day you get to use her Twitter. What are you tweeting? That was the most creative thing that I've ever seen come out of Twitter in a long time, where people were just like making up these random facts they would absolutely assert about the Harry Potter universe.
That's perfect. That's perfect. That's what I need in Harry Potter.
It was
But
like,
then, like, the
starting with the inclusion of Neville Longbottom as Hogwarts headmaster. Like, every teacher has to dab when exiting a classroom.
But there was like a conversation I was having today in the Harry Potter fandom that was about Ravenclaw, and the only Ravenclaws in the movies or like in the end of the books are these really quirky and interesting characters, and everybody in the fandom talks about like, oh, Ravenclaws are bookworms that are super smart and valedictorian types. Like, when is that the case with any character in the book? You've got Gilderoy Lockhart, who's super quirky and good at one thing. You have Luna Lovegood, who is super quirky. Super quirky. You have, like, Professor Quirrell, who is, like, stuttering and oddly good at putting faces on the back of his head.
The Harry
And
Potter
you've got-
fandom is afraid of nerds is the problem. They're
are
afraid to normalize nerds is the problem. They're afraid to look at themselves in the mirror and go, I'm a nerd and I am proud.
We are not all Madame Trelawney. We can't be.
Madame
They
Trelawney.
see
That's not
Ravenclaws
true.
as a threat.
And it's just like, I cannot stand almost any conversation about houses. I'm okay with people sorting characters and stuff into houses. I think that's fun. I think you got a good time with that. But when you start getting like offended because somebody's like, oh, I really thought of you more as like a Hufflepuff. It's like, they're just trying to be mean. They're just talking to you. They're just telling you something. I don't know.
The thing
I've
is
seen
because
people get
you've got a lot of people. You got a lot of people that were like obsessing over their astrological signs and stuff like that. And then you offer them this option to categorize themselves in a way that like everybody can understand. So you're like, oh, total Pisces move. I'm just like, what does that mean?
something's fishy here.
But when they're like, when somebody's like, oh, you're such a Hufflepuff. I'm like, oh, ouch.
You're such a loyal, good friend.
Right, but like nobody wants to be Hufflepuff.
I'm puff proud.
I think that's probably one of the most interesting things about the Harry Potter fandom is that there's just so many people that are so committed to it, and then they're so committed to it online. And that's something I think that's so unique about them, because they're all like in their 20s and 30s now. Like they're the social media individuals. So they're constantly getting into discussions about it very vociferously online.
And can I say one thing about the standum, the Harry Potter stan Sean Pikedom? Listen, I know that you love the book. I know that you've read them 100 times. I know that you love the movies and you watch them every weekend. I'm with, but that does not equal high reading comprehension.
Yeah, it also doesn't make you a film buff.
No, it doesn't. Although we can talk about Prisoner of Azkaban for days. Ha ha! Snuck it in. Okay.
Just say the thing, Tyler. Say it.
You know, this movie, it's just like the camera's a character. It reminds me a lot of Prisoner of Azkaban.
You would love Roma.
Oh my god. Every clip from Roma I've seen is
You would love Roma.
perfect. He is so smart.
The camera should be the top billed character in that movie.
Oh my god.
Anyway, yeah.
He's so
We're
good.
not here to talk about and diss on the Harry Potter fandom.
No, I love Harry Potter. I'm excited to read it again. I haven't read since last year. I'm going to wait, I think, until April or May at the earliest to revisit.
I listened to all of them twice last year, which is too much.
A
Whoa.
little burnt out?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And we covered the movies on the show right after I listened to them for the first time. And then I listened to them again right before we went to Harry Potter World. And I'm a little burnt out on Harry Potter. I kind of like just shy away from Harry Potter discussions at this point because I'm just like, ugh. I'll come back
Hold on,
eventually.
I think I had one more thing to say about Harry Potter. I think I did. Just one more.
Okay.
Why? Oh, never mind. No, I didn't.
What?
I kind of have a thought, actually.
Yeah, no, go for it. I just said okay.
I don't enjoy that. I find that there's a lot of Harry Potter fans who are really, really critical if you don't enjoy Harry Potter. And I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't like that type of negativity because I don't super connect with it. And I don't like that it's like expected that everyone's supposed to enjoy it.
I'm with you there. Yeah, I don't think it is for everybody. I think
There's several fandoms that are this way.
I know Star Wars is the same way. Because I'm
Star
always
Wars
like,
is for
you should
everybody.
Understand. Yeah, Star Wars is the
That's not even the one I was looking at. I was about to come for the head of Lord of the Rings people right here.
oh man,
That's the other one.
Trim
I was
your
like,
neck,
Oh,
beard,
you
Lord
don't,
of the
you don't,
Rings
you don't
fans.
think Lord of the Rings is the best movies ever made? Like, I don't even have anything to say to you, man. Like, which we're not even talking the same language, bro. Like,
I'm speaking Elvish right now. Lord of the Rings is.
and I'm sitting here
is
listening
a
to like
series.
17-hour club mix of they're taking the hobbits to Isengard. Just like, yeah, dude, I totally get this. Although I did watch a clip from that movie earlier today, and now I just want to watch all those movies again.
Oh,
Last Harry Potter point. Harry's the best character.
In Harry Potter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's the most like.
Yeah, I'm tired of having that conversation.
Why do we?
They're about him for a reason.
Why do I have to have this discussion?
Because everybody wants to feel like their opinion is like different.
And like woke because they love Luna Lovegood.
Right,
I
I get it.
She's quirky and interesting. So is Xenophilius, and Malfoy is like the bad guy, but then in the end he like decides to not be that bad of a guy. But like, what Harry Potter is
What?
the most interesting and compelling character?
What if Xenophilius
in
Lovegood
Harry
was just like a
Potter?
normal guy? Just like totally straight-laced Minister of Magic guy.
like a company
Yeah,
man,
like a company
mailman
man, yeah.
guy?
Named Xenophilius. Literally name
I mean,
means
that's-
guy that loves strange things.
I don't know. Harry's the most compelling character in Harry Potter. I don't want to have this argument.
Who's the most compelling character in How to Train Your Dragon 3?
Hiccup. No.
I'd say it's probably Hiccup,
Toothless.
but
Toothless.
Tiflos.
Toothless. Hiccup or Toothless.
I like Toothless the most. So I'm a little biased in that respect.
What do you think about the fact that they... Hold on. I'm going to get back to How to Train Your Dragon talk, but we're actually going to tangent into some segments because we've got to get to our money zone where I bring in a news segment. But before we get to the money zone with the news segment, Ethan said that he has some toothpaste and orange juice. We did it last week with a guest. Isaac, has anything put a bad taste in your mouth this week?
Ooh, like
Other
from
than the
How to
Harry
Train Your
Potter
Dragon?
fandom. No, not from How to Train Your Dragon. Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh yeah, everyone always comments about that.
Drake.
They're
I
like,
love it.
You say it kind of weird,
Dragon.
and I've tried
As
to be
though
like,
the movie doesn't have
Dragon.
an accent.
And you're just like,
Dragon.
I say a lot of
How do
things
you-
weird. Like, compared to you.
it's the yeah, it's like right, isn't it supposed to be Dragon? How to Train Your Dragon?
Dragon.
Dragon?
Dragon.
it's
Dragon.
drag?
If you're saying it like an American.
Oh yeah, that's what
Dragon.
it is. Dragon.
There it is. You had it. No, you had it.
Dragon.
Nope, that's an O.
Yeah.
You need like a
Dragon.
Oh yeah, it's dragon. Like
There it is.
dragon. Oh yeah, it's like. Oh yeah, what? Look at me! I'm dragging my coat across the floor. Like,
Yes!
I'm like. That's how I always have to like think about it. I try to like think of that before I record, and then I'm like, forget it.
I want to go to like a summer camp in Wisconsin and have people sing that Little Red Wagon song.
Little Red Wagon.
Little Red Wagon.
You gotta take your bag.
Oh yeah, yep, I've got my bags in my car. Is that?
Bag. Yeah, bag.
Close enough. Ethan said at least he has one. I don't have anything. The way the segment works, Isaac, is we just loudly complain about something. I don't know. You've listened to this show. You know how the segment works. That put a bad taste in your mouth.
Okay. The only thing that I can think about over this week that I was frustrated doing.
You have it? Is it in your head?
Do you have one,
Can
Tyler?
you distill it into?
You
I
gotta
don't.
have one. You definitely have one.
Oh yeah. I've got
Okay,
one.
let's do it. Tyler's gonna count
All
us
right,
down.
so what I'll do is I'll count down 3, 2, 1, go. Only instead of saying go, we'll say the thing.
Okay.
All right. Glad we're all on the same page.
Count us down, Tyler.
3, 2, 1.
Bose
Homework.
QC35 wireless.
What, Ethan?
Yes, I'm going to complain about the Bose QC35 wireless, but I want to hear Isaac's first.
Okay. So I'm not a huge guy about like complaining. You know, it's not. I don't like to do that a ton on the internet, but my big annoyance this week was homework. On Sunday night, I had a lot of things that I had to do throughout the day for homework wise, and I was getting really frustrated with it. I've got all these ideas that I want to do for YouTube, expanding and doing different things and doing having a lot more fun on YouTube and talking about more things that I really enjoy. And lots of times homework can bog me down, and I don't enjoy doing it at times. So.
Stupid day jobs. I'm with you there. That's actually a huge part of mine. Is I'm sorry you had to deal with homework, Isaac. I had like the exact opposite problem. I work retail in a gargantuan furniture store.
It is
Grand
large.
Home Furnishings.
It's a large
It's called
store.
Grand Home Furnishings. It's the Tanglewood location in Roanoke, Virginia. Come see me whenever, because we are not busy. It's 44,000 square feet. It's 4 floors. And for the past 3 days, the music is off because there was a windstorm that took out whatever tower or beam or lovely person in charge of making music play through my building. So I am just standing, and it's a slow season. We just had a huge outlet sale, so there's nobody like shopping for furniture right now because they just bought it for a super discount. So I stood for 3 hours in a giant 44,000 square foot building, like just not doing anything. It drove me absolutely insane. I thought I was going to explode. It was on my Twitter today. It's just so insanely quiet.
In like a well soundproofed because it's full of furniture room.
Right, there's like rugs and couches and sofas
All
and
fluffy
everything.
things you need to sound insulate a room.
Right, and mattresses. There's like 100 mattresses. Anyway, you can come visit me at Grand Home Furnishings anytime, ye listener. You are required to shop for furniture, though. I'll be very upset if you just come in there and talk to me. You have to at least look like you're shopping for furniture.
Fair. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, Tyler. Hopefully the music's back.
Ethan,
That's not fun.
oh my God, it's terrible. The Bose QC35s, the bringers of music,
They have
the bringers
betrayed
of joy
me.
and happiness.
They betrayed me.
No, how?
Okay, so let me paint the scene for you, okay? The other night, I was listening to a podcast, right, before I went to bed, and I was like, I'm gonna turn this off and take my headphones off before I go to bed, right? Well, I didn't do that, okay? I didn't quite make it all the way there to take the headphones off. Anyway, at whatever volume I was listening to my quiet podcast on, like it was like a fairly quiet show, so I had to turn the volume up a little bit. At about 4 o'clock in the morning, the headphone voice lady inside the Bose QC35 wireless felt the need to go, "Battery low, please charge!" And I'm dead asleep, and this comes in full Dolby 5.1 surround sound. As if it's inside my head.
You know, and you're sitting there sleeping, and in your dream, you're like, I am charging.
Yeah,
This is what sleeping is.
I woke up and I was like, I was in a cold sweat. I was like, there is a demon that is just crouched at the end of my bed screaming at me. I don't think I've ever been more scared in my life. And then it happened to me again last night. Happened to me again last night, except in this point, because when you hit the button on the back, I don't know how I did it, but you hit the button on the back, it's supposed to pull up like Google Assistant, but I don't have Google Assistant downloaded on my phone, so it just said, again, loud as day, clear as day, in my headphones at 4 o'clock in the morning, it was just like, please try that button again. And it's just the most alarming thing. Like, I can't do that anymore. And I've never had this. I've slept with these headphones on plenty of times. I've never had this problem before. But I guess I need to charge the battery more. But yeah, it was just like, battery low, please charge. 4 o'clock in the morning, screaming in my ears. I was so scared. Terrified.
Well, Ethan, I'm sorry to hear that. We've done a lot of complaining. You know, have you ever been to Idaho?
No.
No.
In Idaho, they call the money zone the potato zone.
Ooh.
It's true. That's what they don't call it payday. They call it potato day.
I don't believe you.
Potato. Potato.
I don't believe you for 1 second. You had me until you said potato.
Brought to you, Bacon and Eggs this week is brought to you by none other than our very own Bacon and Eggs Be Positive campaign. And today in the potato zone, we are going to share our potatoes. Now, this is something I've stolen straight from our Discord server. People who do this, and I do not participate, but I love it. Basically, what potato stands for is positive things about today. And then they share 3 great things that happened, and then like a selfie of themselves being great. You can join in on this amazing conversation going to patreon.com and pledging $3 to participate in Potato Day, which is every day in the Idaho Discord server. But really what we're talking about is the Be Positive campaign. We have amazing new t-shirts up on our Teespring. They're very cool. Ethan and I should have ours roughly when this episode comes out. But I want to share our own potatoes on the show. Ethan, I'm going to let you decide how many positive things about today we're going to share on Potato Day.
Well, So the potato zone includes 3 potatoes.
Yes.
So we're gonna go with 3.
Typically it's 3
potatoes.
potatoes.
Three potato is how it started.
Each.
Yeah. So I'm gonna share my 3 potatoes. My 3 potatoes is that I love my number 1. I love any day that I get to record these episodes, especially when I get to hang out with my buddy Isaac and do a recording on one of his favorite movies. This has been super fun. My second, got some new shoes today. They're super fun. They're on my Instagram. You can see them, Bacon and Ethan at Instagram. And my third, what was my third? I did this already. Dang it. I forgot what my third one was. My third one is that, I'm not sick anymore. That's it. I've been like horribly sick for the past 2 days.
You got to count your blessings on health. That's a big thing. We take it for granted that my nostrils work right now.
Took a nap around 2 o'clock, and now I feel a lot better.
Good. Isaac, 3 positive things about today.
So the first one is definitely recording this podcast. I always like coming on the podcast and being able to talk and stuff. I think it's a hoot and a half coming and chatting. The second thing I'd say, I got to go into a 5th grade classroom and talk about entrepreneurship today, which is for this program that I'm doing to fulfill service learning for college. So that was a lot of fun.
That's neat.
I was really excited to be able to talk about it. Yep. Got a little preachy about going for your dreams, working hard, but I thought it was a good message.
You just came on Bacon and Eggs live stream not too long ago to talk about chasing your dreams and hard work.
Yeah,
you're the next Gary V.
He also came on the Bacon and Eggs live stream to rip me a new one for saying the new Avatar movie was taking too long.
There'll be another live stream next month, maybe with Isaac, maybe without. I think we're going to be talking about movie scores, so I think he will probably be there because we learned today that Isaac loves movie scores.
What are we talking about? The podcast? Oh, yeah, I was on the live stream. I'm trying to think of what you guys just said. I had a point, and then I lost it. I don't know. I like being on the live stream, too. Oh, the Gary V thing. That's what it was. So I follow Gary V pretty intently, and so I'm trying to, like, adapt that message, but for my audience, that makes more sense.
Maybe a little bit more family-friendly.
That's the real thing with the Gary V mentality. It's just figure out which parts and how the Gary V mentality fits into your life and the people around you's lives. Because that dude is a machine.
Oh, he is a machine.
Yeah.
He's, like, he has sold himself to his success, and you need to understand that you don't want, like, at least I need to understand that I don't want the success that Gary V has the way that he has it.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
But he makes lots of great points, but he also makes lots of terrifying points.
Well, like, I think that he's very successful, and he has achieved exactly what he has wanted to. But you have to understand that, like, if you go as balls to the wall with work as he does, you're not going to have a family life or friend life. Like, it's just not going to happen. But if you put, 40% of your effort into work and 40% into family and 20% into friend, or, however you want to divvy your cups, you're still giving 100% effort. And that's what he's asking for.
Well, and I've really enjoyed, like, having his perspective and his idea that, like, there should be meaning behind your content, which is what I've been really trying to focus on outside of, like, YouTube especially, like, trying to find, like, a purpose for the things I'm posting. And so the thing I've been trying to preach is that, like, you should figure out who you are, double down in what you enjoy doing, and then trying to figure out a way to make that stable for your life to sustain that passion. And that's what you should be going after.
For sure. For sure.
Mm-hmm. Play to your strengths.
We need to like sit down and write like a handbook for deciphering the Gary V message for the average person.
Yeah. Well, it obviously should just be the Be Positive Bacon and Eggs / WotsoVideos collab book.
There we go.
That should be the title.
Available on
like,
Teespring.
Because like you gotta figure out where the message is for you. Because like Gary Vaynerchuk doesn't sleep. He goes to bed at midnight and wakes up at 4 a.m. Like that's not sustainable for most people.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and he recognizes that. If you watch enough of his content, he says
no, but
he recognizes
your average Gary V fan doesn't recognize that.
Right,
they're like, oh man, I don't. If you want to succeed, you got to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You got to go to bed at midnight. I don't know why you're not doing that. And like, because I'm a human.
Well, because when I do that, I live for the weekend when I can sleep.
Well, and the other problem with it too is that I think some people get the wrong message that everything you do should be about flexing how much you hustle and how much you work, and that's what the conversation becomes about, is how much you work or how long you work. And it's like, look at the other perspective, guys. Go read the 4-Hour Work Week. Get the other perspective. You got to go to either extreme back and forth to find the balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but the third thing that I really enjoyed
is not Gary Vaynerchuk.
was I got to make my Cusco video today. I had a few distractions throughout the day, talking to Tyler on Twitter and things like that, but it eventually got done right before I started recording this, and I felt good about that. So I was
Just
I was
straight
happy
up
with that.
playing the blame game here.
Yeah,
No,
seriously.
I doesn't blame it. I was having fun throughout the entire day, even when I like I watched an hour and a half of YouTube through the day when I eat my breakfast and things like that. But I have fun, and that's what I try to do when I take my breaks. So
There it is. There it is. I have three very, I guess, exciting things. I can only think of like two at the moment. One of which, I had a very good day on Twitter. Twitter was fun. I sort of opposite of what we were just talking about. I took today on Twitter to try a few new things. I was like deep in threads replying to things, and then they were getting retweeted to the top. That was with you, Isaac. Where we were like below somebody's comment, and then that comment, and then that comment, and then it was like, okay, fine, I'll make a Pixar video. Let's do it. And then that moves its way up. And that was just a ton of fun getting on Twitter and doing all that. I was also talking about, like I was in Toothpaste and Orange Juice, like my day job, and trying to find ways to marry my day-to-day life and my bacon and eggs life, and sort of connecting all the dots so that I don't feel like I'm compartmentalizing too much, that everything's a little bit more cohesive. So my Twitter day was fun. Second part of the day that went well, I got to spend a lot of time with my dog this morning. We just laid on the couch for like an hour. It was me and Sawyer, and it was just great, just relaxing, enjoying our time. I may have been like 5 minutes late for work because I stayed there too long, but that was good. Anyway, final thing wonderful about today, I got to go, well, not super exciting, but I had to go to the ER because Emily was there because she has been dehydrated or nauseous, whatever. Everything's fine with the pregnancy. Everything's fine with Emily. Don't worry about that. But the best part about it is I got to hear my baby's heartbeat for the first time.
Whoa.
It's beating at 152 beats per minute.
That's so many.
And that is very healthy. That's what it's supposed to be.
That's always wild to me when people talk about that with their babies. I'm like, that is so many.
Oh my God. Yeah. Which was extremely
That's the
cool.
resting
That
heart
was-
rate. Your baby's gonna explode.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
Orange Theory right there.
That's orange. You get some splat points. But that was, there's been a lot of process, a lot of moments in the baby process that have just been milestones like I wouldn't believe. I remember thinking when I graduated college or high school that this was the most exciting day of my life, or the first day of my first big job, or the launch of the podcast, or my wedding, or that probably should have come earlier, but whatever.
Well, you kind of put them in
school
order
wedding.
there, like chronological order.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Things like that being big, and then you cannot stress enough how incredible it is to go through the miracle of life and birth and all of that, and it's just been a wild experience. But it's so far been wonderful and challenging and beautiful and very weird. But that was my 3 potatoes for the day. If you would like to support Tyler's baby, you can send it things at P.O. Box 3025, or you can go over to our Teespring. There's a link in the description of this episode, and get a B positive shirt and spread your potatoes to all your friends. If somebody's like, hey, that's a sweet shirt, where'd you get it? Be like, actually, before I tell you, these are 3 great things happening in my life right now.
We're gonna have to make potato shirts now.
We may have to make potato shirts. We'll have to see how things go with this segment. I don't know if we're gonna keep it.
You should have short round on it and says, hold on to your potatoes.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Oh gosh.
I know. Every time I talk to Isaac, I just start leaning into that accent. And for the next few days, I'll just be like, "Oh Lord."
Oh, the worst thing for me is ope.
Whoop.
You bump into someone.
Whoop.
Ope.
Whoop.
Oh, sorry.
I do that too, though. Oh, sorry. Oh, coming through.
Anyway, How to Train Your Dragon 3. Dragon.
Yeah.
3. Can I
Speaking-
say it right now?
Ooh.
I'll say it right now. Hiccup's dragon armor looks cooler than the Master Chief.
Oh,
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hiccup's dragon armor is like bad Fortnite. Apex Legends. Dude, like I said it. I'm not even mad. It's sweet.
Dude, when they walk through the fire and the music ramps up,
And he keeps
that gets me every time.
The problem is though, and I had this complaint the whole movie. He keeps turning the little sword thing on and off, and like never hits anybody with it.
Oh, you talking about his like flame
Yeah.
saber?
Yeah.
Is he like clicks it on and
Inferno.
off like 12 times? And he never hits anybody with it.
Yeah, it's more of a tool than an actual weapon.
Yeah, but he holds it like a weapon. Like that's the thing.
Well, Oh, I suppose.
Is he like he walks through the fire and cuts it on, just like, yeah, I'm about to wreck some butt here, and then just
He uses it at the end. He goes into like a proper sword fight at the end.
yeah, and he draws it on Grimmel, doesn't do anything with
Yeah.
it. He draws it on the trappers at the beginning, doesn't do anything with it. That's it. That's all I'm saying. It's like he cuts this.
He's a demon.
He cuts this incredible figure, and then it's just like clicks it off and just like, never mind. Dragon's got this.
I think that's part of it, actually, is that he leans on the dragons too much.
That's
And the movie is about
absolutely
him.
part of it. They beat you over the head with that lesson as soon as they gets back.
Yeah, and I feel like I jive with that very much. I remember when I was middle and high schooler, my dragon was a huge part of my success.
I mean, same.
I related to that on a one-to-one personal level.
I would take like a Dragon More quiz for like what kind of dragon do you get.
Oh, 100%. I would love that. I'd be all over that.
Also, I think my favorite dragons in this one were the hobgobblers.
Every time they were on screen, I was sitting next to Ethan. Every time they were on screen, he was like, "Oh!"
It was a good bit of comedic timing every time.
I did not. There was a lot of like what's the loaded gun concept called? It's that whatever of like they're gonna set this up and it's gonna have to come back at some point in this movie. And he was like, "Oh, they're a bad omen." And I was like, "The Grim, Sirius Black is gonna be in this movie." And no Gary Oldman. They did come back later and they killed somebody. So that was good. Proud of that.
Bad omen.
another
You
thing.
cursed. Anyway.
Dude.
I loved them. I thought it was hilarious because there were more of them every time, and they're just sitting
They
there.
had a
It's
lot
like,
of good
what
comedic
was
moments.
what was the last movie we all talked about? What was Wreck-It Ralph? What was the guy's name with the eyes,
Oh,
with the sweater? Yeah, with the long arms.
Oh, man.
You know who I'm talking about, though?
Man.
Oh, 100%.
What was his name? He would just shout it, and he would just be there, and that's how those were in that movie. Like they would just show up, just staring there and not moving. I gotta look this up now. It's gonna drive me nuts.
Yeah, me too. Gord.
Gord. Yeah, absolutely. That's what this. It solved the same need in this movie. Was those things for that little bit of joke. I thought this movie was funny.
Right.
I enjoyed the humor in this movie.
I thought the humor was paired well with
The action,
the levity of what was going on, because a lot was going on, lots of serious moments, and it was all setting up to what Tyler was talking about earlier, the miracle of life. Hiccup and Astrid have their children. Toothless and the Light Fury have their children. Beautiful thing. I was very excited that we got to see that flash forward.
The black and white dragon
And everyone's
babies.
Yeah,
still
the
doing well.
epilogue.
Yeah, where Toothless acts like he doesn't know who Hiccup is at first, and he's all menacing, just like, I'm the king, I'm the alpha. And like, I think it's so funny that Toothless is the alpha, like, because he's so goofy.
Yeah.
He's
He's
just
cute.
like a
But
little
he's
puppy.
so powerful.
Yeah, he's Night Fury. He never misses.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
He really is. Yeah.
That's the cutest thing in the world.
Yeah, and he finally recognizes Hiccup, and they go flying, and they throw the kid back and forth, and, just some horrendous parenting there for a second, but whatever. They're Vikings. Doesn't matter.
I mean, the fact that they would bring children into a world with dragons at all is...
That anybody was like, we should reproduce.
Right? Before we solve this dragon problem, let's...
Oh, but yeah, no, and we got to see the black and white offspring, and they were adorable, the little baby dragons. I feel like the Light Fury needed a name. I don't know who would have named her, but it would have been cool if she had a name.
Oh, I have a reason why they didn't name her, actually. There is a reason why. So, the whole idea of the movie is that Toothless must go back to the wild. So they wanted the character that would introduce him to the wild and bring him back to the hidden world to be something that was purely, like, animalistic, which is why all we get is the species and not necessarily a name for that. For that specific dragon.
That's a very good point. That's a very cool point.
They really thought about
Yeah,
something.
that's true.
I like it when that
I was just
happens.
mostly referring to it from a point of, like, having to say the Light Fury and not being able to, like, name her.
Oh, I agree. I wish there was, like, something to, like, directly point to that specific Light Fury too, because then it's Toothless's Light Fury or something like that. But
Right.
I think it makes sense for the story.
Oh, yeah. As soon as you said that, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. I'm in on it.
How does the alpha thing work if Toothless has a child?
The same way it worked with Hiccup.
How does the alpha thing work when there was a bunch of Night Furies?
Well, it's whatever.
That's just how alphas work.
Yeah, it's whoever defeats the previous alpha becomes the next alpha.
Lion King.
Yeah, that's why there's, like, one male lion.
If they killed Scar, would it have just been anarchy?
Probably, basically.
They'd probably just live on their own until another male came
wanders
of age.
in from a different part of the savannah, for starters.
Yeah, or one of the cubs grew
Yeah.
into him.
It's kind of like how humans do.
king.
Like, where somebody just kind of sits on the throne until the monarch comes of age.
Yep.
That's what I did. I was I was the king of Thailand.
Nope, that's a place.
That's where the name
That's a
comes-
place. That's already a place.
That's where the name comes. That's where the name comes from.
Oh yeah, Tyler was a king once.
Everybody knows Tyler was king.
Yeah, no.
I really enjoyed this movie. This was such a good work of cinema.
It really was. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching it. I had a lot of fun watching all three of them.
Yeah, I think what truly makes trilogies great is when you go into the trilogy knowing what you're going to make throughout the entire story process, so that there's meaning for every single part of it. And that's what I think How to Train Your Dragon did so well, and I'm glad that it exists. And I'm also kind of glad that it's not Disney. I think it's cool that there's something that I think is to the caliber of the peak of Disney storytelling that is a direct competitor to Disney, so that we get better things from the animation industry as a whole. I think it's cool that How to Train Your Dragon is Dreamworks.
I agree
And
with
I have
that.
a reason to enjoy Dreamworks at all.
I definitely agree with that. And I do think that that's where this kind of edges out Toy Story a little bit, is because like there aren't plot holes really. There aren't a whole lot of problems to fix, whereas Toy Story 1 created a lot of kind of issues that they just didn't flesh out.
What are you looking at, hockey puck?
What?
Well, and there's also like
Not the
think
biggest
of
problem
the
I would point out.
progression of Hiccup and Toothless. You can look at that arc every single movie. They keep growing. But like, what is the lesson that Woody learns? That he doesn't have to be the best toy? Is that the lesson that we need to take away from Toy Story? Is that the lesson every child needs to learn? I don't think that's as important as the lessons that Hiccup learned.
Plus, Toothless is so cute. Sid is scary looking.
Sid was the villain.
Woody was the villain.
He's such a happy child.
I'll tell you, man, watching Ryan George's pitch meeting video for Toy Story 1 sort of ruined that movie for me.
Why?
When he was just like, oh yeah, so we got this kid that, you know, takes the heads off his toys and puts them on different toys. And the other guy's like, so like a kid, like a normal kid playing with toys. He's like, yeah, but he like... He throws them out the window and, like, blows them up, and he goes, yeah, it sounds like a thing a kid would do. I'm like, dang it.
There's been
right,
interviews with a bunch of the Toy Story creators, and they all admitted, they're like, yeah, we were much more Sids growing up. None of us were like Andy playing with toys.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
I think I was more of an Andy, but I'm kind of a sentimental dude with things. So
You know, Isaac, I would not have known that about you. I think I was actually probably more of an Andy. I do remember one time pulling like a Nerf gun apart and like taking all the screws out and everything and seeing how it worked and putting it back together and being like, because I did that, it now shoots 100 miles further than before. Of course, it didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything different. You're like, I modified it
my
somehow.
buddy would mod Nerf guns. He'd mess around with the springs, take out the air compressor so that it would launch farther. He would do it with all of his Nerf guns. It was pretty impressive stuff.
And then nobody wants to play Nerf with that kid because his Nerf gun hurts.
It's like, this is fully automatic and it will go twice as far as yours.
And it hurts.
It hurts.
But there's no question of like, did you get me? I don't think you got me. Did you?
You got
I
a
don't think
welt
you
on
got
your
me.
arm, bro.
That's not the rule, man. That's not the rule. You got me on my arm. It's only chest shots that count.
I remember those days, playing airsoft, making up rules on the fly.
Yeah. I think we discovered. I didn't. Yeah.
Those were words.
Yeah. I didn't want to tell the story.
Okay.
Anyway, let's do. I think
Yeah,
we're
let's
about
do
to
some
wrap
wrap
up
up.
time. This is such a good episode. This flew by for me.
Same.
This there are a lot of times where I'll go click the Audacity. I don't look at Audacity while we record, but I'll click on it and I'll be like, oh my gosh, we've only been doing this for 45 minutes. Oh dear, how are we gonna fill the next hour? But this time I clicked over and it was like 1:41, and I was like, all right, tell another story and then we'll be good to go.
Liddy.
What do we do to wrap up? The first thing I think we do is rank it on the big board.
Big board, yeah.
The big board.
Big board.
Big board is updated.
Big board. God bless Zach Pearson.
Zach Pearson.
Love that guy. Updating the big board for us. Official board moderator.
Okay, we have received requests to pit it against every movie bottom up.
Yep.
So we're going to do that. Is it better than
Yes.
Venom? Is it better than Transformers?
Yes.
Yep.
Is it better than Crimes of Grindelwald?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it better than Lego Movie 2?
Yep.
Is it better than National Treasure?
Yeah.
Ralph Breaks the Internet?
Yep.
Lego Batman?
Yep.
Bumblebee?
Yep.
Yeah.
Miracle?
Yep.
Princess Bride?
Yep.
Interstellar?
Nope.
Yeah.
No way.
Ooh.
Not a cold chance in heck. But I can't fight this. I'm not allowed to.
Toy Story?
I mean, yeah, it's better than Toy Story, but so is Interstellar.
Batman Begins.
Is that really where that fell?
Yeah, Batman Begins is
Man,
6.
I forgot that. Ooh.
I mean, I've got a preference. Like, I think How to Train Your Dragon is better than Batman Begins. I would prefer to watch How to Train Your Dragon over Batman Begins.
I actually would agree with you.
I would probably agree. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
It's a way more fun.
So
Much
here's
more
the thing.
fun.
Here's the thing. Is I do think it's better than Toy Story 2, but I don't know if it's better than Toy Story 3.
I like
Because like the end of Toy Story 3 is it's such an emotional piece.
It is. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think you're better than Toy Story 3 here.
I do think you're better than Toy Story 2. Is there anything between those two?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but Dark Knight Rises is above Batman Begins.
it's better than Dark Knight Rises.
I don't know that it is. This is a tough list. This Toy Story trilogy is really messing things up here.
I mean, I stand by what I said with Toy Story. I stand by how I feel about all of these, actually, for the most part.
Yeah, I stand by how I feel about them too.
Yeah, I still think Toy Story is better than Interstellar.
Not all three of them, and Interstellar is better than Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises. It just is. It's just a better story.
I feel pretty good about How to Train Your Dragon 3 being above Toy Story 2 and below Toy Story 3.
I'm there. I'm with that.
I'm with that.
I feel that.
Cool.
Cool. That's decided.
And then we will have another animated movie next week that is yet to be determined.
Yeah. How do you take your eggs? That's what we call it.
I gotta
How do
post
you-
that
how
poll.
do you like your eggs?
Post that poll. Listener's choice animated movie. We're opening up to every animated movie ever made
That we haven't
that we haven't already
reviewed.
covered. Yeah.
Now, the only listen, this is actually an important thing because there are a lot of suggestions you can make for this Pokemon first movie.
Stop leading people.
The only qualification I'll say is that it has to be animated and it has to be a theatrical release.
Yeah.
No Lion King 2, Simba's Pride?
Nope.
No Lion King 2.
I don't
Simba's
think Lion
Pride.
King 2
Actually,
Simba's Pride is gonna win out of all animated movies ever.
I 100% don't think it should either.
I think if it's any Lion King
I-
movie, it's gonna be The Lion King.
But why would it be The Lion King when it could be Pokemon the first movie?
Stop leading people.
It's got a 15% on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes.
it sucks. I love it dearly,
see.
but it's not a good movie.
Better than Venom.
Probably Venom's overrated. It's got like 30%. Okay, so
It's crazy. We have Venom at the bottom of this list. I remember almost nothing about that movie.
that's a solid sign. That
That
tells
is
you
where it
right
should
where it
be.
should be. We've also reviewed an extraordinary list so far this year. Just
Yeah, we have.
really
This is a
good movies.
Very, yeah.
Okay, so
Anyway.
so what breakfast food is How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World?
I'll be honest. I know it's not a Viking food. It's like a soul food. But I get a real chicken and waffle type vibe here.
Explain yourself.
It is heavy and absurd.
And also sweet.
And also sweet. Like, it's heavy because it's like I'm eating carbs
And
then
meat.
protein wrapped in carbs.
Yeah.
Protein deep fried in carbs. But it's also silly because it's chicken and freaking waffles, Ethan.
I back that actually. Now that you said that, Ozzy, do you have an idea? Do you have a suggestion?
I really like chicken and waffles.
Okay, cool.
I think that kind of explains it really well.
I'm
Plus,
with that.
I feel like you also there's a certain Vikingness to eating boned chicken
For breakfast,
at
yeah.
breakfast. Like,
yeah.
Just go out to the paddock in the morning and pull out a whole hen.
So I think that
Okay.
yeah, I think that
I'm
without a
with that.
doubt that's what
I'm
I'm
with
looking
that.
at here.
Yeah, I feel that a lot. It sounds really good.
Fair enough.
Do they have chicken and waffles in Wisconsin?
Not very frequently. No.
Just at IHOP.
Probably.
Okay, well, yeah, but you do have Culver's, so you kind of win there.
Oh, yeah. We've got good burgers.
I would love a Culver's
We've got a lot of
Butterburger
that.
right now.
Okay, listen, I've said it before, probably on this podcast. I'll say it again. A butter burger is just a normal. All burger buns have butter
Yeah,
on
but
them.
it's marketing, Tyler. It's toasted.
it's like I wear Allbirds because their marketing got me so good, but there's one segment of their marketing where they're like, you can throw these shoes in the washing machine. Every other shoe can be thrown in the washing machine that's made of wool or mesh.
Yeah,
This
yeah. They're
is-
acting
this
like
is
they
old
invented
news
mesh shoes.
Well, they made wool shoes also. They didn't invent those either. They are insanely comfortable. High recommendation from Tyler. No referral code. I don't think they do. But yeah, you could throw your merino wool shoes in the washer or your your mesh shoes in the washing machine. That's not new.
I would not machine wash any of my shoes, but that's just me.
You don't have Allbirds.
I don't.
You're missing out. They're sweet.
I've only done it with like super muddy running shoes before.
Isaac, do you work out?
I did cross country and track and a year of swim team in high school, but I don't run a ton in my college years.
All right, I'll take that.
Fair. All right, well, let's wrap this piece up.
Isaac, where do people find you? Of course they know.
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at WotsoVideos. I talk about Disney and other magical stories. So if you're interested in learning about the lore, talking about lots of wonderful stories with me, definitely go check me out there.
Perfect. Succinct. Love it. He makes fun videos for fun topics for fun people.
Absolutely.
Tyler, where can people find you?
What? I make videos on... there was not a vlog yesterday because, as aforementioned, Emily's in the hospital right now, so I'm just not going to edit one. Also, I may have not filmed anything. Anyway, I'll be back with the vlogs next week. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AmeriCarlin. There's a Facebook like page attached to my name so that I can have a business Instagram. You can like that if you want. I probably won't ever post anything there. You can follow the podcast at Baconandeggsmedia on Twitter, or Baconandeggs on Twitter and Instagram. You can email us if you have any show questions or just want to say hi at baconandeggsmedia@gmail.com. You can like us on Facebook. You can join the super secret, not secret at all Facebook group. It's free for everyone forever. That's where all the polls and everything are for the How Do You Take Your Eggs episodes. So definitely do that. There will be a link to that. It's like the first thing in the description. The very first thing is the link to that. Ethan, how do people get in touch with you?
You can find me at the aforementioned things that we share, where you can also find the podcast, or you can find me on Instagram at Bacon and Ethan, or on Twitter at Wow Now, but the others are zeros. I probably should get that other handle from Seamus and just go ahead and switch things. I keep saying that every week and then forgetting. That's okay. Seamus owns my Twitter handle. That's fine. That's a totally normal thing to have happened. Anyway, yeah, that's where you can find me. I'm available all the time because I live on social media now. I post pictures and stuff all the time, and you can join our Discord as well, which is the best way to get in contact with me. You can go to patreon.com/baconandeggs, join the super secret Discord. That one actually is secret because you have to get it in to join it. But we just dropped the price to $3. 3 American doll hairs.
So just for reference there, in the Lego movie, Emmett buys a coffee for $37. For $1 less than that, you can join the Discord server with Tyler and Ethan for an entire
year, for the price
year.
of one Lego
now,
coffee.
listen. I want to just expand on that point just real quick. If you think, oh well, I don't want to join it because Tyler and Ethan probably never spend any time in there, just give me a second, okay? I've got to pull up the.
How many more times could Tyler say "just" before he explodes?
Let me show you something, Ethan. In the last 7 days, I have spent 12 hours on Discord just on my phone. We are there all the time talking and hanging out, and usually not even answering questions. The community's so cool. They're just like sharing potatoes, and nobody ever has questions for Ethan and I. But if you're in the Discord, when I ask Ethan and I,
currently we're talking about how tall we are, and everybody's taller than me.
Ethan is 4'3".
Yeah, I'm 4'3". That's it. Yep, Ethan's 4'3". No, I am a shorter than your average bear kind of guy, but that's okay. Anyway, this is kind of where we end things. So our logo is by Vaishon Brandon. You can find him at Graphite VMB on Instagram, and our music is by the ever wonderful Andrew Scott Bell, and you can find him on Twitter and Instagram at Andrew Scott Bell, and as well as AndrewScottBell.com. To find all of his stuff, he's like an award winner. It's awesome.
He's a student
Oscar winner. Yep.
And he's working on a student Grammy production.
Yeah.
Student Emmy.
That was it, Emmy. Yep.
Student Emmy. Yeah, because he's doing a TV show. One of his shows got nominated.
That's so rad. Anyway, so that's
so cool.
That's Andy Bell. He does our music, and I think that's it. I've been Ethan Edgehill. He's been Tyler Carlin, and him over there in Wisconsin has been Isaac Carlson. Until next time, arrivederci.
Another Night Fury.